and welcome to the advanced class of Canva. If you have yet not used Canva before, or this is your first time using Canva, I recommend you go back and watch our beginner video on how to use Canva. Or, additionally, you can look up resources on YouTube to be able to use the program. This course is meant to help you use more advanced techniques in Canva, and today we'll be going over several of them, including how to use Canva to create assignments in Google Classroom. We'll be looking at how you can edit videos and photos using the background remover, different AI options that Canva offers, how to use filters and effects, how to take your photos and use them in photo collages with pre-made frames, and also we'll be looking at how you can spruce up your presentations, how to use Canva Live, the magic shortcuts available, and even a remote control. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to learn is how we can upload an assignment into Google Classroom. First, I'll go into a pre-made design that I've already made called Teacher Planner and click on it. As you can see, it opens up the presentation and all the different slides. In the top right corner, I'm going to go to Share, something that I would normally do if I was trying to collaborate with somebody as well. You can collaborate by putting people's emails in the selected area. Make sure that you modify the link if you want people to have access from it. You can choose only you having access, or maybe somebody in your group, or anybody that has the link. So don't forget to modify that. Now that we've clicked the share link, you can see the different options that we have here, one of those directly being Google Classroom. You can also find the Google Classroom option in your assignment options. For now, we'll click Google Classroom. If this is your first time using this, you might have to log in and sync up. Once you're synced, you'll hit continue, and it'll ask you which classroom you want to share it with. As you can see here, it gives me all the different options of the classes I've had, and that I have and have had before. So today we're going to choose Arduino Innovation since it's the first one. And then it asks me what I want to do to share with that class. In this case, I'll create an assignment. And then I'll click Go. Now that I've chosen it to be assignment, I'm asked to add a title to the assignment. Teacher Planner seems like a good title for it. That's what we called our presentation. And then the optional instructions. I'll go through the slides and finish the work. There. Now I know that it's for my Arduino Innovation class, all the students, and other modifications that you would make here in your Google Classroom. And I'll hit Assign. Voila! The assignment has been uploaded to my class in Google Classroom. Canva does a great job of streamlining all these different things. But just remember to be signed into your account in Canva, to be signed in the sync in your window, and also to be signed in Google Classroom. If everything's tied together, you shouldn't have too many problems. All right, let's head back home. The next thing we're going to do is use the photo editor. The photo editor is great because it gives you some options that might be difficult to find otherwise. In this case, we'll go to Upload. We'll go to the top right corner here and click. It asks us to drag and drop files or to choose files from our computer. We're going to pick some files here. I'm going to choose this picture here and hit Open. Wow, a picture of 3 more cats. That's amazing. Let's go ahead and edit the photo and see what kind of options we get. A pop-up comes up that tells us that we're using a dedicated editor. For all other features, open the photo and design. So this is a recommendation that if we're going to use this picture in a bigger design, that we should probably open it in the design and not on its own. But we want to open it on its own today. Over here on the left, I see all my different options, my tools, my filters, and my effects. The first one is background remover. As you can see, this option is only available in the Pro Education version. Well, we're lucky because we have that. We'll be able to use everything here. Background remover is really simple. It's simply going to remove the backgrounds of my pictures with the click of a button. Background remover is really simple. It's going to simply remove the background of our picture. Let's go ahead and click on it. It does all the work by itself. Just like that, the background has been removed, and the lines look pretty good. It looks like I got all the details of my cats, and even a cupcake here at the bottom. If you decide you don't want to keep it, you can just hit the back button, and I'll take it off. If you want to redo it again, click this button. Canva also allows you to compare the two different versions. With just the click of a button, I can compare the previous version, and I can see what it looks like with the background and without it. Great options. Let's hit back for now and get our original picture. Our second tool here is our magic eraser. By clicking on the magic eraser, it produces a new menu that only says brush size. It gives me the directions to brush over the picture. My brush size right now is set at 20. That's a pretty good size. I think that maybe we'll erase the cupcake in the bottom left of the third cat. This brush looks a little bit big. It might not fit, so we'll tone it down a little bit to half the size. And now I can start clicking on the area that I want to remove. As you notice, Canva does kind of a highlighting type feature. I want to make sure to hit all those areas, although I want to be careful not to accidentally go into the other picture. I did a little bit, but I think it'll be okay. If I really want to get more detailed, I can always choose a smaller brush. Just like that, the cupcake is gone. It seems to have left a small blur area, but overall, I would say it looks pretty good. There's an area right here. I'm going to touch it up again. And after a few seconds, it's gone. So that's a really great tool for being able to edit photos on the fly. Again, if we go up to the top right, we can compare what it looked like before and what it looks like now. Pretty impressive. If I want to undo it, I can just hit the undo button. First time, it takes away that small piece that I left off. Second time, the cupcake is back. I don't want to hit the cancel button. That'll completely take me out of this picture. I just want to use this back button here, and then it'll take me back to the menu. Here we are. Our third tool is Magic Edit. With our picture back to normal, we'll click the Magic Edit. This tool is technically an AI feature. It's going to take an area that we've chosen, and just like before, we'll create a brushed area. Then we're going to modify it. Let's see it in action. This time, I'll choose the party hat on my cat. Again, I think my brush might be too big, so I'll reduce it down a little bit. And carefully, I'll go over the cat's hat. Just like that. It's done. This time I didn't do anything. It's waiting for more directions. I hit continue in the menu, and Canva asks me, what do I want to generate in the brushed area? We'll keep it simple. This is a new feature, so I don't want to make it too complicated. I'll pick a flower. Canva gives me some options here. Snow, red balloon, green hair, but we'll go with flower, and hit generate. After a few seconds, the hat should turn into a flower, or something resembling one. As you can see, my cat now has a Christmas tree head, which could almost be a flower. Our second option here does look more like some flowers. The third one has a flower at the bottom, and the fourth one kind of looks similar to the first. So as you can see, it kind of creates some silly results, but it can definitely be fun. You also have the option to generate new results, in case you didn't like the first ones. And you can always go back and change what you want to generate. Maybe something more simple? Well, as you can see, those are all kind of silly. I'll go back and erase the flower from the cat, and we'll go back to the party hat. It goes back through all the options of the things that I picked, but eventually we get back to the kitty's hat. Here I can hit cancel at the bottom, and then I'll go back to the main menu. Our cats are back to normal. The second area here is the filters. The filters allow you to change the color and the palette of the picture. I hit fresco, makes a slight variation. Belvedere, looks like it includes a little red. We can also modify the intensity of how dark or light we want the colors. If we hit see all, you can see even more options coming up. So it definitely can spruce up some pictures if this is your kind of thing. I hit back, and I'll undo some of the filters. Alright, we're back to our original picture. Down at the bottom, you'll see the effects. We have shadow, autofocus, and blur. Also, duotone. Shadow will add some light shadows to your picture. Autofocus will make pictures that might be a little bit blurry a little less blurry. Or you can purposely add blur with the blur option. Duotone is somewhat similar to the filters. It'll give you some color options to really make some pictures pop. Now let's go back to the top of the menu. As you can see here, we have a couple more options. This one being adjust. When we go into adjust, we have an option to auto adjust. This is going to attempt to auto adjust your picture for you. When I click on it, it might change some colors, sharpness, and different things like that. You can do it automatically, or you can go through and try to do it on your own. If this is your kind of thing, there's a lot of options of different things that you can do in the adjust toolbar. You can also choose the intensity. How much do you want to adjust each of those areas? Finally, we have a generic crop where we can pick what part of the picture we want to keep, and it even lets you adjust if you want to do a 1:1 scale or a 16:9 ratio. You can also rotate the picture. Next, we'll be looking at pre-made frames. We'll be using a photo collage as an example because we can use pre-made frames and photo collages the easiest. Just keep in mind that you can import and use pre-made frames in all your different projects as well. Let's go ahead and choose photo collage. When it opens, you see you have a lot of different choices on the left side. So these are all pre-made templates for photo collages. We can pick any one of these and then fill it with pictures. You can fill it with pictures that are already in your elements, so you can search for different pictures. You see some of my recently used, but you can put in photos and different things like that. Or you can also upload your own pictures. Most of the time, when you want to make a photo collage, you'd want to use your own pictures. If you have fun pictures in certain poses, then you can put them in here in those different places. Keep in mind, when you're using pre-made frames, the picture is going to fill the area. You can't really edit it once it's inside. I'll go over to my uploads here and maybe choose a couple different pictures. You can see I have a lot of the different cats. I kind of want to match the shapes over here with the pictures that I have on the left. You can always go back and use the edit tool to modify your pictures to better fit and crop to go into these photo frames. This is kind of a square, so my little cat with the shark head will fit pretty well in there. As you can see, he fits in pretty nicely in the square, and it doesn't take anything away from the picture. If I try to edit or move the picture inside of the frame, it'll move the whole thing, so I don't really want to do that. I'll keep him where he was. Now I have a nice large rectangle shape. I'll grab my kitty over here in the basket with the flowers. I think he'd fit in really well. Looks pretty good. If I did end up cropping it or modifying it, I might move it over a little bit to the side. Keep in mind, when you're using pre-made frames, it'll try to zoom in and fit the picture the best that it can, based on the shape that it has. So keep that in mind. Now, another rectangle. Maybe I'll grab the scared kitten on the pillow. He fits in there pretty good. And finally, I have the square again. So I'll grab the cat with a scared look on his face. As you can see, he zoomed in pretty well and cropped a lot of the picture out, but it fits in okay. So these are really neat to be able to make different things. And you can see that for making photo collages, you can make something really unique. Make sure you check out all the different templates in the design, as there are many, many different ones. There are different shapes, sizes, and different things you can do. So this is definitely a great one. You can also use pre-made frames in other designs. Whenever you go into a different project, you can also use pre-made frames in other projects. So whenever you pick any project, you can find pre-made frames inside of the Elements category. Click Elements, and if you scroll down, you'll see something that says Frames and Grids. All you have to do is click and drag the one that you like. As you can see, there's a lot of different shapes you can add on, and drag the frame where you want it. Once you have the frame where you want it, you can resize it. Then we'll go into our uploads and pick the picture that we want to go into it. So it's kind of like clicking and dragging a picture 2 times. First the frame and the size, and then I'll grab my picture and drag it into the frame. As you can see, when my arrow goes there, the frame will be filled with my image. So pre-made frames are great to use in all your different projects, not just your photo collages. The last thing we'll be looking at is some great new options that you have available inside of presentation mode. Here I have a blank presentation, so I'm just going to pick a presentation template to be able to work with what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick this English class and apply all 14 pages to my presentation. Once all those are uploaded, we can go into present mode. In the top right corner, I'll hit present, as you typically would, to be able to share a presentation. So when I hit present, I'll hit present one more time, and we'll see in the bottom right that you actually have some additional options inside of Canva. The first one we're going to look at is Canva Live. Canva Live looks like a little dot with some waves coming out of it. When you click on it, it's going to bring up a bar on the right side. It'll ask me to start a new session, so I'll go ahead and click that. When I do, a QR code comes up in the top right, or it gives you the option to visit Canva Live and to enter the code, in this case 939064. These codes will be unique for each different presentation, so keep that in mind when you're using Canva Live. As it says here, you can ask your audience to visit Canva Live on their device, and they can participate. When they participate, you're able to see and engage with the people that are in your Canva Live presentation, and they can watch the presentation on their own device. So it's a great way to be able to interact a bit with your presentations, although interaction is still a bit limited. But make sure you check it out, because it's definitely a feature that's worth looking into. Alright, I'm going to close this back out. As you see, even though I close it there, I need to end my Canva Live for it to actually return back to the original form. The second thing we're going to look at is called Magic Shortcuts. So, as you can see, down here in the options next to Canva Live, we have a little keyboard. If I click the keyboard, it will bring up a different number of things that we can do when we're in presentation mode. The good thing about Magic Shortcuts is that we can use these in presentation mode side by side. So in the case of when you do a presentation where you have your screen on the computer and the second screen showing up like on a projector, these will be able to show up on the projector as well. The first one is a timer, which is pretty simple. If you click it one time, it says right here 0 to 9. It'll bring up a timer for 1 minute. If I click it more than once, it will add an additional minute each time that I do it. The second one is blur, and you can see as I click it, it will actually blur out the image. In case you want to get people's eyes on the work that they're doing in front of them, and not focus on the presentation, at least for a moment. The third one creates a quiet face that actually makes an audible sound. So it's kind of helpful instead of having to yell. The people looking at the presentation can see and be reminded that they need to be quiet. Bubbles adds a couple bubbles to the presentation and can be used for a number of different things, but mostly maybe to redirect attention. Confetti is a great one to do a celebration. And the fun thing about something like confetti and all these magic shortcuts is that they can all happen live during the presentation. These are not something that's pre-programmed in. They have to be clicked and manually chosen during the presentation. Drum roll is similar. You have something setting up maybe a big announcement, and you get a nice little audible cue, which is pretty fun. Curtain call is kind of similar to drum roll, so another kind of expectation. We're expecting something cool coming up next. It's time for our math class, English class. And there you go. Everyone's excited. And finally we have mic drop, which is just the sounds. A mic drop. You're an amazing teacher, you made an amazing point, and everyone needs to know. So those are really fun magic shortcuts. And actually, we'll be able to use them with the next feature that we're going to talk about, which is called remote control. So I'm going to click off of there and look back here in our menu, and you'll see the three dots that say more. When I click the three dots, it will give me a couple different options. It'll say share remote control, autoplay, hide magic cursor, and hide live edits. So share remote control is an option that comes up that lets us remotely control our presentation. When I copy this link, I will be able to receive a link that I can then send to myself or others to actually control my presentation from another device. This is really helpful with your cell phone. If you're in a place where you need to present to a lot of people and sometimes you don't have access to the computer that has the presentation, or you forget your little dongle to be able to shift right and left in a presentation, basically you make one on another device. And this link can be shared with any device. So you can use a phone, a tablet, even another computer to be able to control the presentation that you're watching. So this is probably one of the best options that I find in Canva, and something I really, really enjoy. Now we're back to our regular presentation. The last thing that we're going to look at, and we're just going to look at quickly, it's one of those things that's still kind of in the making, but it could be really exciting later on, is the Canva Assistant. So if you look at the Canva Assistant, this kind of gives you a general idea of how to use a lot of the AI features that are in Canva. So from before, we see Magic Eraser, Magic Edit, but down here, you actually also have Magic Write. So brainstorming with AI suggestions and doing different things. And so that's really a great place to look to be able to see and use some of those AI features. And as you can see, just have a lot of different quick access to things that maybe you're having trouble finding. So make sure you check that out. This Canva Assistant is available on all the different projects that use in Canva. Well, that's the end of this video. Thanks a lot for watching the Canva Advanced portion. Make sure that if you have any questions or anything, you reach out. We'll be glad to support you in any way we can. Have a good one.